This is a story about Amir. This is the first photo I ever saw of him when his person who found him asked for help. Quickly realized he was sick with an eye infection. And the eye infection got worse when we realized that he accidentally was giving oral medication into his eyes. Both of his eyes closed up and he needed urgent help. He came to me and we healed him, and his eyes came back around and he made a full recovery. But one day I found him blue. Wasn't sure what was going on. Luckily, I had an incubator with an oxygen, so we put him in right away to try to get him to breathe because he was still playing, but his lips were blue. We monitored him and watched him and realized that it was best to take him to a vet to get an opinion to make sure all was okay. So that night, we ended up going to VG emergency room. It was a very long night. During the time we were there, they took a lot of x-rays and realized that he actually had diaphragmatic hernia. He just kept looking at me as he was catching his breath now that he's had oxygen for quite a bit of time. And we had to make the tough call of, do we euthanize or do we explore other options? Do we do a surgery? And as I pleaded with the rescue to possibly do the surgery, he kept looking at me. And I thought to myself, how can I let this little guy go? How can I euthanize him when he's laying there being cute as ever, playing, wants to live, is a fighter that does not look like a kitten that wants to die or is ready to die? Luckily, my rescue was amazing, and they said the surgery was on the table. And we quickly called many different, at least 3, I want to say, places, and got prices. And we were able to make sure that this guy got his surgery. I was super grateful, with tears in my eyes, looking at him, that he was gonna be okay. We were told that with the surgery, he would have 100% quality of life. Next day, I loaded him up in the car and we plugged in his oxygen, had a battery pack, and we went to UC Davis, which is the place we ended up choosing to go. We drove about 2 hours with the oxygen in tow just to make sure that he would have what he needed. Once we got there, I said my goodbyes. Wasn't sure if he was gonna make it. He, at that point, was struggling to breathe again. When we picked him up, we learned that the surgery went really good, but he did end up losing or stopping breathing, and his heart stopped right 9 seconds, which was extremely scary. During that process, he developed an eye ulcer. We weren't sure at first if he was gonna be okay, but he did make a full recovery. When I saw him after the surgery, I was so happy. He was finally gonna be okay. Yes, we had some healing to do, but he was gonna be okay. As he recovered, we noticed that he had a little indent. We weren't sure what it was at first. This was probably about a week after the surgery. We sent this video to the doctors, and at first they thought it was pneumonia. Went back to UC Davis. They took more x-rays, and we were diagnosed with pectus excavatum about 7 weeks post-surgery. We came home and we were sad. Even though I was sad, he made friends with other litter mates, and he played like nothing was ever going on. We decided that because of the struggles we've had, that we were not going to proceed with a pectus excavatum surgery. And today, he's a happy kitten that might not live as long as the others, might only have 8 years to live, but he is looking for his forever home.